Happy Friday! Coming to you live from the Remarkable page a day early, but I wanted to do this because tomorrow is my son's last football game and we're traveling a little bit far, so I wanted to make sure that we got in the Sochi's, today is Friday devotion. So we're just going to switch it up this week, just for this week, and then we'll be on our normal schedule next week. But I wanted to encourage you tonight as we start this weekend. I know that a lot of us have had long weeks and, there's been deadlines and just stuff that's happened. But be encouraged, the weekend is here. So today I'm going to go to, this is our third point from the message from Remarkable. This is the third point, probably my favorite point from this whole message. And this passage is, if you weren't there, and if you haven't seen the message yet, it's based on Mark 14, verses 1 through 12. And it's talking about the woman who anointed Jesus' head. And this verse, the one that we're going to focus on, is Mark 14, verses 8. It says, she did what she could. Now let me tell you, Jesus said, these are Jesus' words. So if you have that red letter Bible where Jesus is speaking, you'll see this in red letters. She did what she could. Now, let me give you a little bit of background. So she had just anointed Jesus' feet. She broke the alabaster jar, which was something super expensive. Some say like even $25,000 worth of just perfume, expensive ointment. So she just got done anointing his head, and then the whole room smelled this beautiful scent. But what happened there, and instead of people being like, wow, what a great gift, look at what she did, she anointed Jesus' head, everybody around her started saying, what did she do? What a waste. Why did she do that? She could have donated this for the poor. So Jesus stopped, and let me tell you this, because a lot of times, when we're people are getting on us and they're putting us down or maybe even bullying, Jesus is speaking on your behalf. Just like he did when he was physically there. He said, and last week we talked, he said, she did a beautiful thing, but she did what she could. That's so important for us to remember. Do what you can do. Jesus put everybody so unique, so special. He put his fingerprint on you when he created you. And he's not telling you to do what somebody else is doing. He's saying do what you can do. So Mark 14:8 says she did what she could. And everybody, like I said, everybody was chastising her and saying, why did you waste this? And Jesus spoke up on her behalf. I can't get away from that because it's so important that we realize that Jesus is our vindicator. He's the one that's going to be speaking on our behalf. Sometimes we don't have to fight our battles because Jesus fights our battles, right? So do what you can do. This is so important. I said that night at Remarkable in September. I said, do not try to do what others are doing. And when you can't do what they're doing and you fail, you don't do anything. That's not what God calls you to do. God says, do what you can do. What is that special gift that God has given you uniquely to do? So listen to me. That woman, in this specific chapter, she's just known as a woman. She couldn't keep the Jewish leaders from falsely accusing Jesus. She couldn't keep the soldiers from crucifying Jesus. And she couldn't even stop the crowds from mocking Jesus. But what she could, she gave everything that she had in that ointment of expensive perfume to Jesus, and she anointed his head and gave a sacrifice, something so precious. She did what she could do. Now we think, oh, well, why didn't she do all this other stuff? She couldn't do that. She couldn't stop the Jewish leaders from doing that to Jesus. She couldn't do all that stuff, but she knew what she could, and that prepared him for the crucifixion and his burial. Jesus told the disciples in the room to leave her alone. We'll find that in the next verses. And I encourage you, if you've never read this passage, Mark 14, verses 1 through 12, he said, leave her alone. Stop criticizing her. And boy, did he shut the room up, right? We must never disregard or devalue anyone else's service or anyone else's gift. There is no greater gift than another. Like, just because you can teach or you can preach or you're a giver doesn't mean that that's higher on the hierarchy. In Jesus' eyes, everybody is on the same level. Let me tell you, like, it's so crucial that what has God called you to do? In 1 Corinthians 12, that's a great passage that it's talking about spiritual gifts and how God gave everybody a spiritual gift. But it's important, if you'll find in that passage, that it says, through these spiritual gifts, we all have to work together. Like, the arm can't do everything, the feet can't do everything, the eye can't do what the ear has to do. We, as a body of Christ, have to do what we can do. That is important. That you can find that in 1 Corinthians 12. So let me ask you this. What has Jesus called you to do? See, to the woman, she gave everything. She gave everything that she had. And let's compare it to that same. There's an important character, Judas. Judas, he sacrificed. He said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and betray him for 30 pieces of silver. That's how much he was worth to Jesus. That's how Jesus was worth to him. So let me ask you this: what can you do for God? And when you find what you can do, what Sochi can do, what Stephen can do, what whoever's watching can do, find out what you can do and then do it. Do what you can do. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let anything discourage you, because you are special. You are important. You are remarkable. Now let me tell you this. We are less than 1 month away from our next remarkable event, which is Friday, November 9th. I am so excited. I'm so looking forward to that. God has already started putting things in my head for the message, and I'm excited. But I want to encourage all people out there that spread the word about Remarkable. This is a completely free event for all the women in the community to encourage and to uplift each other. That's what we need. We need to do that. We need to give each other that extra push so we can do what God has called us to do. So Friday, November 9th at 7 p.m. at the Mascot Civic Center. We'll have all that in the comments, but I just want to encourage you on this Friday night, October 12th, do what you can do. Don't do what others can do. Do what you can do. And let me tell you, you will be blessed. God is going to continue to pour into you. And remember, you are remarkable and you are able to make your mark. Have a great weekend.